India is the world's second largest potato producer, yet most of its potato economy remains informal, fragmented and undervalued. One Gujarat-based company is quietly attempting to change that. HyFarm, the agribusiness arm of HyFun Foods, has built an end-to-end supply chain from tissue culture laboratories to the menus of global fast food chains like McDonald's, KFC, Burger King across 50 countries, touching thousands of small farmers along the way. Now, stepping out as an independent company, HyFarm is changing targets that could reshape how India grows, processes and exports potatoes and what it means for the farming communities that make it possible. We have with us HyFarm CEO Mr. Soundarradjane. Thank you for joining with PTI.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate. Yeah.
India produces 60 million tons of potatoes a year, second only to China. Yet, most of that economy is informal and invisible. Where does the real opportunity lie and where does HyFarm fit into it?
That's a great question. Clearly, I see, as I mentioned in the Vision 2050 document, India will grow from 60 million metric tons to 125 million metric tons by the year 2050. So there are two critical areas which we see as growth. One is clearly on the table potato segment. Because of our own population and consumption, I think the consumption will be the greatest driver for us. But the major drive will happen in the processing industry and especially in the French fry industry. And when I see French fry industry, it is growing at the rate of around 20% year on year. And clearly we see that this will be a great growth trajectory going forward in Indian context. But when you compare with in HyFarm context, we are clearly geared up. Today we have established our presence in Gujarat, working with 7,000 farmers, producing 400,000 tons of potatoes through a kind of assured buyback arrangement with the growers. And what we envisage by 2028, we would reach producing 1 million metric tons of potatoes. We will be reaching close to around 30,000 farmers in next 3 to 4 years. So that's the objective we have. As we look at scaling up our volumes, our capacities, we clearly see an opportunity to grow and focus in Gujarat in next couple of years. And then we would like to diversify and expand as we scale up in Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh going forward. So we have clear vision growing from 400,000 tons to 1 million metric tons is our goal, and we are all working towards that.
Burger King, KFC, McDonald's, you supply some of the world's biggest fast food chains across 50 countries, including Japan, which you describe as the gold standard for quality. How did an Indian agribusiness get there and what does it take to hold that position?
Interesting. So we start focusing our energies right from agriculture till the processing or till it reaches the consumer to his plate. To start talking about agriculture, I think this particular village where we are sitting today is also globally certified village, globally certified agriculture, what we call it as global GAP. We got this certification last year in this particular village, and especially this farmer himself is a GAP certified farmer. What it means to us is that the way we use the right chemistries, greener chemistries, right dose of fertilizers, and what is the soil residue matter. I think the soil residue index is very important. Minimal soil residue index is very critical. So we start working from soil health and then the package of practices, what kind of chemicals used. I think we need to give more impetus to it. And then the way from a safety angle, from a food safety angle, we'll have to look at from agriculture till it goes to the consumer. So these are certain practices which globally certified process which we adhere to very strictly, and we adhere to those norms that makes us as world class in supplies. And today we have been able to cater more than 50 countries.
India's entire French fry industry runs on one Dutch potato variety, Santana, which ironically never even succeeded in Europe. That is a dangerous dependence. What are you doing about it and how soon will farmers see new varieties in their field?
Interestingly, the Central Potato Research Institute, CPRI, has also launched a couple of varieties called Fryzona and Fryom. They have also started picking up now, and they are also white flesh varieties because Santana is an yellow flesh variety. So we have a choice for the farmers now. Interestingly, there are multiple breeders across the globe. They are partnering with many of the companies in India, including HyFun and HyFarm. So we are partnering with several breeders across the geographies to try to get varied germplasm suiting for different states in India. In addition to Gujarat, we are also planning for Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh or other states. So we would like to have multiple choice of varieties. Hopefully in the next 3 to 4 years, you will find more number of varieties coming in place.
You pay royalties to Dutch breeders for every ton you multiply. As you scale toward 1,000,000 tons, that bill grows too. How much are you paying today, and at what point does building an Indian agribusiness on foreign genetics stop making commercial sense?
So if you look at from a research point of view, it takes at least minimum 8 years for a breeder to release the first variety, and the probability of success is very minimal. So I think it is better to identify the germplasm which are already tested and proven in similar geographies. For example, today when we equate our conditions with Middle East or Egypt or Spain, we find certain, or California for that matter, or Atlanta. These are geographies which are having somewhere close to tropical conditions which suits our requirement. So what we do, we look at genetics across the globe. I think that is the easiest one to do. When we have several genetics, diverse genetics across the globe, it is better for us to pick up those which are suited for our conditions. So that will be the right path to look at it. But going forward, if we want to strengthen our research, there are multiple areas where we can expedite, like the way the new breeding programs like marker-assisted breeding or gene editing, or in future, true potato seeds could be the answer to fast-track the whole mechanism. Because seed production program itself takes 7-8 years, and then you have a breeding program for 8 years or 7-8 years, close to 16 years. I think 16-20 years for a variety to hit the market will be too taxing and time-consuming. I think it all depends on our way of embracing new technologies going forward. I think that should be the key for us.
HyFarm is a 800 crore procurement operation financed entirely through debt with no equity infusion on the agri side. You're asking lenders to back a business where the return cycle spans 7 years. How do you make that case, and where does the capital for your 2028 expansion actually come from?
So primarily, our focus has been more from a debt, bank debts. Thankfully, we are able to manage it. I know it's a very highly capital intensive farming. Potato itself is highly capital intensive agriculture, and the margins are very, very thin. But end of the day, we could build a value chain which is economically viable for us as a company and viable for the company group as a whole. So that's where we foresee ourselves.
HyFarm is largely a Gujarat story today. You are now looking at Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh. Madhya Pradesh makes sense as an early harvest market, but UP is traditionally a table potato region with lower solid percentages. Why would UP ever work for French fries?
I think UP to me is the future for processing industry. Though today UP is the powerhouse for table potatoes, we see over a period of time the temperature rising up in UP, which turns out to be an ideal place going forward. And I could see in last 6-7 years, I think the solid percentile in UP is increasing because of temperature going up in that particular area. There are several studies from Climate AI and other organizations which tracks and forecasts for the next 6 decades. 6-decadal overview of how the climate pans out in these geographies. And we find that in that study, UP will emerge as one of the finest places to grow processing varieties. So today, if you look at UP has attained close to 19 to 20%, as against 17% 4 to 5 years back. So there's a change which I see it. So clearly we see UP in next 3 to 5 years will emerge as the next processing hub.
So is HyFarm plan to expand its operations in MP and UP?
Yes. So our plan is very clear. We would like to diversify in different geographies. So Gujarat, we started with Gujarat, it will be our focus site, but we will also enter into MP and Uttar Pradesh in 2028 and 2030. That's a plan which we have in mind. Hopefully it should happen.
Today, HyFarm sells seeds almost entirely within your own group. Is there a future where you become a seed company for all of India's potato farmers? And if so, how do you handle the conflict of selling seeds to farmers you're also competing with for their crop?
Okay. So clearly, if you look at, there are three segments in our seed production program. One is producing French fry varieties, crisping varieties, and table varieties. And HyFarm has been involved in all the three varieties in producing table varieties, French fry varieties, and crisping varieties. But predominantly, our focus has been more on French fry varieties. 90% of our volumes have been on French fry industry. But when we were growing last 5-6 years, farmers were asking for some of the table varieties and crisping varieties. So we started multiplying, say, table and crisping varieties for MP and Gujarat farmers. Now that owing to the success we have seen, I think we have the capability now to get into table seed segment. So we will be able to expand across geographies wherever potato growing areas are there. We will also open up our distribution network to support common farmers, especially in crisp and table potatoes going forward.
So when is it likely to come up?
Hopefully in the very near future. There are plans in place. The production is happening in place. So hopefully by 2026, we should be able to expand from Gujarat to neighboring states like UP or West Bengal.
You became one of India's top 3 seed multiplying companies in just 7 years, something competitors took 25 years to build. What gave you that edge, and why did you choose to build your own seed program rather than simply buying from ITC or Mahindra like everyone else does?
Right. I think HyFarm has an unique seed to shelf model, which by nature we wanted to strengthen our back-end value chain. We have 3 tiers we want to strengthen. One is our commercial production, wherein we buy potatoes on an assured buyback from our farmers. The second tier is having our own seed multiplication program, which takes 5 years' time. And then the third tier is actually having our own mini tuber facility through aeroponics or cocoa peat. So we would like to go across in a phased manner. So in the first phase, we were able to accomplish and successfully demonstrate having a large-scale farmer kind of an association we have with the farmers. We've been able to demonstrate in last 10 years, working very closely with the farmers, reaching 400,000 metric tons. But today, if you look at HyFarm, while we were evolving as a seed multiplication company, we have become the second largest seed multiplication company. We produce close to 100,000 metric tons of potatoes. And in last 2 years, we moved from around 50,000 tons to 100,000 tons within a very short span. Look at the company HyFarm. In last 7 years, we started with 3,000 metric tons of seed distribution to farmers. Today, we have a seed production program close to 100,000 metric tons. By way, we have become and emerged as the largest seed selling or seed multiplying company, especially in potato industry. What it tells to us are 2 things. One is farmers who have been associating with us last 7 years have been very, very supportive, and they have produced the best quality of seed. And our quality seed has been very well appreciated by the Gujarat farmers.
Can you walk us through your seed cycle in plain language? How does a peanut-sized tuber grown in a laboratory become a French fry on someone else's plate? And how many years does this actually take?
It's a quite interesting journey. In potatoes, it is very unique. The seed production program, unlike any other crop, is totally different. If you look at it, has 3 phases. The first facet is on the mini tuber production. For a mini tuber production, you need to take at least 18 months period, roughly around 2 years, which means 2 years go in the mini tuber production program. Then comes the production which is put up in the corporate forms. It takes 1 full year to produce the seed which hits the soil for the first time. We multiply the seed in the corporate forms, wherein we actually go and then take land on lease with the farmers. Today we have around 500 acres of land on lease. We do our own corporate farms. Then the third phase is actually having a buyback arrangement with the farmer for seed multiplication. So it takes 2 more years, which means the seed production program itself takes 5 full years. After that, it reaches to a commercial grower on the 6th year. And from there onwards, we start supplies to our manufacturing units around the year. So it takes 6 to 7 years for a consumer to taste the first French fries.
You retain 80% of your farmers season after season. What does a farmer's life actually look like before and after joining HyFarm, and what does your buyback arrangement promise them when potato prices collapse?
So, in a way, the interesting piece for a farmer to associate with us, clearly number one is that the procurement price. We've been able to offer competitive price for a farmer, so it becomes economically viable and profitable for a farmer. That's number one. Number two, in addition to price, we also have a bundle of services which we provide to a farmer in terms of having a digital connect with the farmer, in terms of crop advisory, the right fertilizer dose at the right time. So farmer has everything on his mobile app called Farmoji that delivers right from seed request till the harvest. He is being handheld and he will be taken care throughout the season. That's number one. Number two, we have a kind of an infrastructure setup wherein we have cold stores spread across Punjab, Haryana and UP, and especially for our produce here in Gujarat as well. We have different types of cold stores. For seed program, we have box cold stores and bag cold stores, which is traditional in nature. And if you look at the commercial crop, we have modern cold stores, which is of bulk cold stores. 40% of our inventory is stocked in bulk cold stores and 60% of the inventory is stocked in bag cold stores. In a way, we are able to provide the best of the services to the farmers in terms of access to different cold stores and logistic access nearby. So I think it's a bundle of services in terms of providing seed. I would say we charge only 50% of our seed cost in the beginning. The balance 50% is get adjusted with their produce. So the farmer gets a benefit in terms of enhancing his seed program. That is one. We also have a mini kit program where we source critical inputs in terms of pesticides, the greener chemistries, which are very important for us, so that the farmer is focused on getting or using the right pesticides, right fertilizer dose. So we try to consolidate and then share it with the farmer. We get it at a competitive price in the marketplace, and then we share it in the form of a mini kit program. So there is a kind of a setup where we also have all this new digital means where we connect with the farmers right from seed to harvest. We also have a mechanism of having field team. We have experts in this particular company. I would say we have specialists for seed. We have specialists for quality assurance. We have specialists for corporate farms, contract farms. So we have separate, I would say, verticals which really take care of the farmers. So we've been able to retain close to around 80-85% of the farmers last 7 years. That tells about the trust and credibility which we enjoy with the farmers.
Why is Gujarat so well suited for French fry potatoes specifically? What does a crop need to produce a good French fry, and why can't you just grow it anywhere?
That's a very interesting question. Gujarat has turned out to be the powerhouse of French fries in India. Primarily, number one is our farmers. I think the Gujarat farmers are entrepreneurial in nature. They are able to identify the right variety and produce the right quality of produce in the marketplace. For which, I think the variety plays a very crucial role. Gujarat conditions, the variety which we grow here is also a variety which is from a Dutch company called Stet. The variety name is Santana. So in Gujarat condition, the climatic conditions play a very important role. You need to have longer sunshine, day length period, which helps in producing the best solid percentiles. We expect a solid percentile close to around 22 to 24 percentile. That makes a real good French fry. That's number one. So agroecological conditions or the climatic conditions of Gujarat fits very well for French fry production. Number two, the variety which is chosen should be able to produce within or less than 100 days. Normally, if you look at other countries, it will take 140 to 170 days. But in Gujarat conditions, we are able to make it within a short span of less than 100 days. I think that is very crucial because while we harvest, the temperature during March goes up. It goes up more than 40 degrees. I think that is very critical for us to harvest in time. So the crop duration plays a very crucial role, less than 100 days. So agroclimatic conditions, the crop duration, and the farmers of Gujarat, they made it happen.
You have invested in AI-driven farm advisories and a training program called HyFarm Pathshala in rural Gujarat, where smartphone penetration is uneven. How many farmers are actually using these tools and have yield measurably improved, or is this still more narrative than reality?
Interestingly, Gujarat, in the state of Gujarat, 80% of the farmers use smartphone. And in our program, when they are registered with us through an app called Farmoji, I think 100% of the farmers are using smartphones. And that is one of our basic requirement. Because we strongly believe to associate with the farmer on a day-to-day, I think the digital connect is the best reach. And we are glad to see in last 3 years, all our farmers, all our 7,000 farmers are able to register themselves and they do their interaction with us. It's a dialogue. It's a dialogue between the farmer and the company. So this discussion goes on varied front, right from soil health, crop advisory, right fertilizer dose, right amount of irrigation, and even harvest. So I think the digital connect is really, I would say the digital connect is much more stronger and it is strengthening our relationship with the farmers.
India's potato processing industry has no unified industry body, no common voice on exports, quality standards or policy. Given HyFarm's integrated position across the entire value chain, do you have an obligation to lead the efforts to build one?
In fact, that is the area where we wanted to pursue. We've been discussing with our industry peers the benefits of launching Potato Processors Association of India. Something similar in many of the Western world, they have their own processors association. I think it is time for us, high time for us to launch this. We've been talking to industry peers on this area. Hopefully it should happen at some time, maybe this year or next year. That is there in the discussion, under discussion.
And what are the benefits of having an association?
So when we have the processor association, there are many benefits for the industry as well as to the farmers. Number one, today if you look at our industry, the French fry industry is predominantly export driven. There are a lot of challenges in terms of export process, number one. And we can also now make inroads into multiple countries. Today, as HyFarm is engaged in 50 plus countries, and there is enormous opportunity to reach around 100, 120 countries in next 3 to 5 years. So we need to conduct road shows, working closely with APIDA or from the export authorities. So that will give us an industry to really work together for keeping future and becoming more on a global competitiveness. That's one. Number two, there are certain globally certified programs which we can do as an industry together, right from seed certification process. Today in India, we have seed certification process in place, but in practice, it is not existing. So we need to really focus on making it happen. So globally certified seed program helps us to get the best globally certified produce as well. So those policies can be being supported. Also, there are certain tariff benefits or subsidy benefits where the industry can also seek from the government side. You can look at many countries have the backing from the government side, especially if you look at China in recent times, has the backing for all the processors to become more competitive, the kind of benefits they get in terms of tariff structures. I think those are certain benefits the industry can gain and which can be passed it over to the farmers as well. So I clearly see when there is a common areas, for example, being globally competitive, adhering or raising our standards again on a global platform so that we meet the standards across the globe. We will have more number of countries to export, and also there will be a lot of benefits to grow our own domestic market. That is very important for us in the long term, because when you look at from a domestic market point of view, we require a lot of support, a lot of investments to reach the consumer at the last mile. I think it requires a lot of cold store infrastructure facilities, which needs to be established every nook and corner of this country. I think these are certain benefits we can really come together, work together, and get those benefits, and that will be really helpful for the industry.
From a peanut-sized tuber in a Gujarat laboratory to a French fry on a plate in Tokyo, HyFarm has built something genuinely unusual in Indian agribusiness. The next 5 years will reveal where the integrated model scales or whether varietal dependence, climate risk or the weight on Dutch royalties test its limits. Thank you for joining with PTI.
Thank you so much, Lakshmi. Thanks, PTA, for this opportunity.